Alright guys, so before we start painting, I would like to give you information about the model itself, so where you can find it, where you can purchase the model. So this model was designed by Alberto Gaona. So I'm gonna put in the description of the video the links for his Coles account, Facebook account, and fundraiser. So Alberto has several very nice models, and the way that he designed these models are different from what we're used to, like Marvel and DC and that kind of stuff. Even with like the position of the model itself, for example, this one is like laying on the ground and stuff like that on the floor. So it's very refreshing, and his models are high quality, very high quality. So this image that you're seeing right now are the renders of the model. However, the renders and the model is a little bit different than the renders. All right, for example, um, the actual model doesn't have the aviator glasses. It doesn't have the ties on the legs are different. She has tarantulas on the hands in the model that you get compared to the one that you see with the renders. So that's something to keep in mind. However, it's not a big deal. It's a beautiful model, and well, that's it. Now let's get started with the model. As you guys saw, I shared at the beginning of the video a couple pictures before I prime it with pink, because I forgot to record that part. So the color that we're using to prime is pink from a Vallejo model color 7D958. Remember that I use this color just to kill the gray. It's not really like a prime. It's just I can um, provide an even surface, an even color scheme for the red that I'm applying to, so I don't have like a dark red areas or light red areas. So it's just to kill the gray. Sometimes we use different color resins, and if we apply, that red is very transparent, so if we apply the red, it will show the different tones underneath. So the red what we're using is the Vallejo game color Scarlet Blood 72106. And I'm diluting, well, for the pink I diluted the paint 50-50, 50% water, 50% paint, and for the red I diluted 80% water, 20% paint, and that was it. I applied like a uniform all over the model. And now the next color, our first vase, if you want to call it that way, is Vase Flesh. This is from Vallejo for the Nocturna series. It's hard to find this color unless you purchase the entire set. I'm based in Mexico, so for me it costs around like $50 to $60. I really don't know how much is in the US, but for sure I know that it is available in Amazon. So if you guys don't have it, well, go get it. And the reason why I'm using this color vase is because I wanted to paint this model with darker skin, or darker what I'm used to painting. I always paint white girls, so I wanted to make it more like a Latina looking, because part of when I look at the renders, it's like a apocalyptic girl, or like a Mad Max kind of thing because of the outfit. So probably she's, her skin is burned by the sun, that she's out riding and whatever, riding on the motorcycles or whatever. So that's my, crazy idea why I chose these colors. But anyway, so the base color will be Base Flesh by Nocturna Vallejo 74004, and I applied these on 80% dilution, 80% water, 20% paint all over the model. Now, depending on where you live is how quickly the paint will dry. So where I'm at, the paint dries within 5 to 10 minutes. At least, if you touch it, it will feel like it's already dried. Maybe not underneath, but that's something to keep in mind. So I'm trying to cover most of the model with this color, but since it's so thin, the paint will be so transparent and it will be absorbed by the red. So my suggestion to you is paint it thin layers, let it dry 30 minutes to an hour, and come back and see if you need to cover a little bit more of the red or not. Look how red it still looks. It looks extremely red. But anyway, so the next color that we're going to use is the Sun, no, not that one, is Dark Flesh, Vallejo, model color 7927. Same kind of dilution, 80%, 20. So, and I will apply it all over the model. You guys will see right here, right now. Like, as I'm applying the paint, the model starts drying and you can see how the intensity of the color start like vanishing away. Look at this, like on the buttocks, on her booty, like look, right now, you see how it's absorbing and like the tone is getting like less intense. So just play with the time. So make your layer, see if you like the tone, if you already cover all the part that you wanted to cover. And if you didn't, then you can come back and apply a little bit more. Remember, thin layers is always better than thick layers because we can come back and touch up and stuff like that. I am not making a lot of emphasis on the I was gonna say crevasses on the oh my god, I forgot the word, joints like armpits, behind the knees, under the butt. So that part I want it to be more reddish because of the vascularity of the model. But anyway, so these three models right now I just apply a clear coat with satin acrylic varnish from Vallejo as well. And I actually am gonna apply two coats. So the first coat I apply it, I will let it dry for hours, and I apply another one. I want it to be really seal my paint job, because the next part of the painting here will be some effects, some vascularity that we're gonna do, some veins and some fun stuff. So as you guys can see here, I'm applying it. Sometimes I have to, not sometimes, all the time I have to dilute the satin acrylic varnish from Vallejo with like 4 or 5 drops of thinner, because it's really thick and it doesn't go through my airbrush. So just make sure that you don't add too much thinner, otherwise the goal of the varnish will be, gone, because you're gonna be applying a thinner or dilution of chemical over the model, and that's what we want. Now for this next step, I'm gonna use some sponges and some makeup sponges, as I also using some Q-tips, and the two colors that we're going to use to mix and create this new color is flat brown from model color from Vallejo 7984, and the scarlet blood from Vallejo 72106. We're gonna apply like 2 drops of flat brown and 3 drops of the red. We want it to be slightly brownish over the red, so more brown than red. And we're gonna add water. Mix it really well, and make sure that the consistency is really runny. As you guys can see here, I'm using this bat from another model that I already completed, but this was an extra piece, and I'm making sure that the wash is gonna run the way that I want on the model. So I'm gonna add a little bit more of water, and we're going to continue to do it. So I'm gonna use these like crappy sponges that you see here. They have irregular areas. I don't want anything that is very symmetrical, because what I want to create is like a natural pattern. So I will dip the sponge on my mix, remove the excess of paint on the towel, the blue towel that you see there, and I will tap gently to create this pattern. I always work in sections. I never do the entire model and come back. I have very bad experiences in the past where the wash dries and I cannot remove it, and then it looks terrible. And now I'm using this makeup sponge, and I spray a little bit of water. I remove the excess of water in the towel, and now I'm removing the excess of the wash that I don't want it to be there. And after this step, we're still going to apply 2 more colors, so that this effect or this step will be buried over 2 other layers of paint, and it will make it look more natural. In the pictures that I have taken at the end, I have taken a video of the final model, how it turned out, as well as some pictures. And I'm telling you guys, like, I have everything is recorded with my phone, so I do apologize for that. I don't have still the enough money to buy like a professional camera. That's what I've been wanting to do to make this more professional, along with some lights and stuff like that. But anyways, so the video, my camera, the pictures don't do any justice. It's I cannot say that this is hyper realistic, a hyper realistic type of paint, because the model itself doesn't allow you to do much, because for example the face is so young and so smooth, compared if you want to do like a Heisenberg from a Breaking Bad. Man, that model, it's is gold when it comes about trying to practice some hyper realistic skills. And but anyway, so I'm telling you that it doesn't do any justice. It's very subtle, the effects. When you look at it close, in person, the model, you get to see everything the way that it's supposed to be, and it's just. I'm not. Probably it sounds bad that I say it myself, but it's a really, really beautiful model. It's one of my favorites that I have ever built and painted. But anyways, so as you guys can see here, I'm still working in sections. I don't want to overdo everything. I like this to be very subtle, very discreet, if we can put it that way. Another thing, I don't know if you guys notice, but I'm also painting the entire legs where the thighs are going, because we're going to apply a color, but I want the color to be applied over the entire tone of the body, like the entire color of the body. I didn't want it to leave it gray or red and they apply black and make it completely solid. We want the transparency. We want the skin to show through the thighs. Okay, and now I'm here. I think that this is the base take when it comes about applying this process. I did the same on the chest or the breast. I focus primarily on the breast and the clavicle, where I want the vascularity show. So for if you guys don't know what vascularity is, or I'm saying it wrong, it's like the blood vessels, right? We want blood vessels to show through the skin a little bit. So, and I'm removing, shoulders are very important, upper back is very important, because when you are exposed to the sun, like you get the freckles and causes some irritation on the skin. There is no right or wrong way to do it. This is the way that I'm doing it. If you guys have better ways to do this, please share with us in the comment section. Also, don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you haven't. I would really appreciate if you can help me to grow the channel. And all the fun stuff. Click on the bell. There's a lot of more videos coming. I have one from Anubis from CA Studios. I have Zeus from CA Studios as well coming into I'm gonna make a video. Spider-Man, Chun-Li from Street Fighters, Street Fighter. I don't know if it was Fighter or Fighters, but anyways. And I will be moving soon to a different location, so it might take a couple weeks again to upload a video. But the ones that I have here just to edit and upload them are very cool, and I hope you guys gonna like it a lot. I think that this is the process that took the longest with this model, but now we're going to apply. Well, we're gonna apply the if you wanna call it the lights, but it's not like the highlights. It's just light. So let's for the sake of the argument, let's say that we're gonna have lights and highlights. And this color is Sunny Skin Tone by Model Color from Vallejo. Is this 70845, and this one again 80% paint. 80% water or thinner, 20% paint. And I'm just doing like a general spray all over the model. However, I am not being very insistent or applying too much on the parts that where we're supposed to have the shade, like under the legs or under the armpits, under the breast. That I want it to still be like a reddish to, you know, to create the contrast of like a natural flesh. So, and by doing this, we are killing the previous effect that we just applied. I was having some issues with the airbrush, it get clogged, but anyways, you see also like the part of the thighs, I still painting the the legs as didn't have ties. I do apologize, guys, because my videos, I have noticed that they're very long. They're over 40 minutes, almost 50 minutes, and I don't know if you guys need so much explanation and detail of what I'm doing, because I have seen other great painters, modelers, I don't know how would I call them, that their videos are like I'm painting, I don't explain anything, it's like a 20-minute video and I'm done. But anyways, now for the face, for the head, I'm going to apply the vascularity, the blood vessels, right? But I'm only going to focus on the cheekbones and the nose, and I want it to be super fine, so it will create some kind of a freckle effect rather than the entire, you know, blood vessel kind of thingy. Really smooth, really settled. I will show you right now how it's turning out. Look at that, look at that, and I love it. That's all I do. I'm not gonna overdo it, and I'm gonna apply again over the face the sunny skin tone. It's supposed to be the highlight, not the highlight, the light of the model, and I will make sure that I don't overdo it on top of the nose and the cheekbones. Now this model, you always have to understand the autonomy of the model, and this model, it doesn't look like it, but her cheekbones are very long. So if you only apply the paint on the beginning of the cheekbone right next to the nose, and you don't bring it up almost all the way down to the ear, it's gonna look a little bit weird. Okay, all right, now we're gonna use the our pencils. These are water-based pencils, like acrylic pencils, and I'm using the dark green to create veins. I have right next to my colors a little Q-tip with water to remove the excess of paint, or just to blend it into the model. So as you guys can see here, I'm removing the excess of water. I'm just tapping gently, and what it's going to do is that it's going to make the color to spread out a little bit. And if you look at your hands and you see your veins, it's not like a thick line, it's like a little bump, and then it's spread out, and the color like a loose intensity. I'm not gonna put a lot of veins because of the position of the model. So I want people to be looking at her breast, her clavicle, her neck, and her butt. So that's where I'm going to focus the veins. I'm not gonna put veins on the arms or in the arms. And these colors are really great. You can find them in Amazon. It costs about $10 or $15 if I'm not mistaken. And that you can come back if you didn't like it, completely erase the line, or make it more intense, or whatever you want to do, right? So if you guys can see here in the camera, we still have to apply another layer of color, which is going to be the final highlight. But even at this point, it's just like a, you know, I got the result that I want, and I'm very happy with it. Well, I'm doing this because now we're gonna move to the butt, and we're gonna do the same. Remember, random areas. You can look at some pictures and take some references of how to apply the veins if you know, if you need help trying to figure that out. So do that. But anyway, I wanted to tell you about the model. This model, it has a perfect fit. This model has the option to put like a shirt, or like a pedo, or I don't know how you call it, a blouse, or I don't know what it is. so you cannot, and well, that's the option number one, and option number two is, you know, like with the breast out. If you want to be taking out the shirt, you cannot glue the head, you just can't. But the fitting is so perfect that if you just put the head on top without gluing it, you won't see the line where the connection is supposed to be. It is great, I'm telling you guys, it is really nice. This model is 9 parts only. Is the 2 legs, the hips with the thighs, the torso with the breast, the 2 arms, the head, and 2 pieces for the hair. So it's 9. If you want to add the shirt and the tie, it will be 11. It has a tie, it comes with a tie. I don't really like that version with the tie, but there it is. You know, it's an option if you guys want it. So these are my highlights. This is another Nocturna series from Vallejo. This is the highlight skin. It's 74008. It comes in the same bundle or set that I told you about before. It's really worth it to buy it, if I'm honest with you. Now, the only difference here is I'm diluting 90% water and 10% paint. And I'm just focusing on the places where I believe that the sun is gonna hit the skin. Forehead, chin, and this is what I'm talking about, the tip of the nose, and that's it. I don't want to overdo the face because I have those really cool effects that I made with the freckles. So I think that that should be it. And so that's it. So on top of the shoulders, the breast, and the butt. And now for the hair, we're gonna paint the hair with our color flat brown 70984, a full coat, 50-50, 50% water, 50% paint. And then the highlights are gonna be done with the orange brown. Is the 70931 from Vallejo, if I'm not, yeah, it's from Vallejo model color. I'm gonna use a flat brush. I'm gonna do some dry brushing. I want it to be a little bit intense, right? And I'm gonna do perpendicular to the hair flow. So the hair is going vertical, my painting is horizontal. And we're gonna do this in the entire hair. I'm just going to show you how I did half, because pretty much you'll just repeat on the other half. It's not like a rocket science or anything. If you overdo like I did here, you can tap with your finger and you will remove some of that paint. If you like the intensity, well, so be it. That's fine. There is no right or wrong. Everybody makes their own interpretation of their models, and all of them are beautiful. Don't be too harsh on yourself, criticizing yourself, because I think that we are the worst judges for our own work. So in a little cup, we're gonna pour some oil paint and some turpentine. The turpentine is for AK Interactive, if I'm not mistaken. And we're just gonna mix it. And I want a really runny solution, because this is going to be my wash. This is going to blend together what I did with my hair and make it look real, because right now it looks like crap, let me tell you that, right? So I'm using a very big flat brush, and look at this. Look at this. It runs beautifully. If you notice, I haven't protected my hair paint job with varnish. I'm just applying this oil wash right on top of the paint, the acrylic paint. It runs fantastic. It's really nice. Make sure to use gloves. I don't like to use gloves because I don't know why, but sometimes I regret not using gloves. Remember to paint in a well ventilated area. I have had some respiratory issues for being stubborn and stupid, so don't be like me. Do it right. Do it, take care of yourself. Don't let your hobby ruin your life. And look at the difference, guys, with and without. And once that dries, it's gonna look amazing. Now what I'm going to do now, I'm gonna start putting some liquid mask around on my skin because I'm going to paint now the ties, and I'm gonna use airbrush, and my airbrush is crappy. I have a chopper airbrush that it cost me 20 bucks online, and also my compressor is kind of crappy. It cost me $75 online. So, and I'm not very proficient with the airbrush. I think that my paint turns out well because I spent a lot of time masking or taping my models, and that's my safe haven. Um, and now I have applied the Tamiya tape. So there is no magic, guys. There's just a lot of masking to do. So what I'm going to use here to do the ties, well, we have to do two, the shoes and the ties, and this is another difference. In the render, it shows that the girl has shoes and then the tie. Here, the shoes and the tie are one piece together. So for this part, I'm going to use the black glaze from Vallejo 70855, and I'm gonna dilute it 80% water, 20% paint, because even though this is like a see-through or transparent color, I want it to be even more transparent so it can show the skin underneath with a really natural looking feeling, And look at this. To me, this is this is the finish that I was looking for, and I'm very very pleased with that. Now I'm going to use the flat black or just color black from Vallejo Model Color 70950, and this is like a solid color, and I'm just going to paint the shoes and let the gradient, or I don't know how to say this, to do the transition between the darkness of the shoe and the transparent light section of the tie. I'm just painting the base black and like the part of the toes, the top of the toes, and then everything is like a transition from one color to another. If you don't have the black glaze, don't worry, you can do it with black. You just have to dilute a lot the paint. Now we're going to be using the Tamiya paint. This is Black NATO XF69. I'm using a natural brush, natural hair brush. Is thick, and I'm using the Tamiya thinner because, as you guys know, Tamiya is not really acrylic. It's something weird, so it won't work with water or with the Vallejo thinner. So you have to use the its own thinner. And I'm applying like a general brush on the sleeve of the arm. Just make sure that you don't paint the skin the color that you have painted already. This flies, right? And we're gonna do some dry brushing here as well. So I was telling you the model is around $15. It's a very high quality model, so I encourage you to do it. This, I don't recommend this for beginners. This is more for advanced. If you wanna really show your skills when it comes about painting skin, this is the model for you because it's pretty much just skin. And Alberto, he has some other models that is just skin. So there is a pretty nice designer, if you ask me, challenge you with the skin tones. Right now I'm using light gray from Vallejo Model Air. This is the 71050, and I'm using brown brush, especially designed for dry brushing. I'm removing the excess of the paint on the blue towel that you see there. You can find these towels at Walmart or AutoZone or O'Reilly's. Those are the mechanic towels. They're inexpensive. They go a long way, especially if you print your own prints. It helps a lot with the resin. So, and look at this. Isn't that beautiful? I love it because the sleeves have so much detail. Like, gosh, it really is. And now I'm doing like the tedious part of the work, which is painting the buckles for the laces, where the laces go through. This is just flat silver from Vallejo as well, game color. The color is 72052, and this is gonna take you some time, not too much, but some time. And this model somehow is very forgiving. If you make mistakes, you just can go back and um, apply a little bit more of black. As long as you don't mess with your skin, you should be good. Now we're gonna use the same red that we've been using all this time to paint the laces. I think that's how you say it. This, yeah, laces, shoe laces. Yeah, so the laces, and it's just red. It's gonna take you some time. It's vibrant red, so I like it very much. Remember that sometimes the intensity diminish when we apply our clear coats. I don't know for which reason, especially with the Tamiya um, clear coats, it diminishes it a lot. But whatever, I'm using Vallejo, so we should be good. And now another, as I was telling you guys earlier, the renders that you see when you acquire the model and the model that you actually get is a little bit different. So in the original, on the renders, you don't have the bracelet, you don't have these bracelets, you don't have the tarantula on the top of the hand. The underwear's a little bit different, the ties are different, the shirt is different, the glasses are different, the shoes are different, but it's not a bad thing. It's just different, okay? So I'm painting the bracelets with gunmetal from Game Color from Vallejo 72054. It's just general paint. And look at the tarantula. That's the tarantula that I was talking to you about. That I painted with the same light gray. And I'm just gonna use some panel line from Tamiya and this other wash from Flory Models from UK. Those are hard to get, especially here in Mexico. For me, it took 4 months for them to arrive. I have to pay taxes, like the, how's it call it, importation taxes, custom taxes, and I bought them over 10 years ago. I still have them. They go a long way and they're amazing. I think that I paid $40 for the entire set plus all the fees and crap that I had to pay, but it's worth every single penny. Those are completely acrylic. You can spit on them and the paint will come out, or the wash will come out like 24 hours later, as long as you have a really good clear coat apply. So with the panel line from Tamiya, I applied it on the bracelets, and then I'm gonna do a dry brush with silver so I can make it pop and it doesn't look flat. I don't like flat stuff. And with the tarantula, I'm applying the Flory wash with a pencil. I'm very careful because even though I can remove this with pretty much nothing, I don't want it to touch the skin. So it's something that we don't have to worry about later on. Okay, so, and as you know, I don't know if you guys can see, this hand has a ring, a double ring, weird, but the wash that I applied to create the depth was also the panel line from Tamiya. We're gonna let it dry. As you can see, the other hand is sitting there drying. I don't care right now because like I said, this Flory wash is just amazing. I cannot say the same about the Tamiya because Tamiya is harder to work with, in my opinion, right? Probably I'm not really good working with Tamiya, but for the people that there is, then so be it. And you can see here, now with the Q-tip, I'm just going to remove the excess of the Flory model that I apply on top of the tarantulas. Not before making sure that the bracelets have the correct amount of wash. So I'm applying there more because the crevices in those bracelets are very deep, so we don't want anything to look flat. And thankfully the panel liner from Tamiya is so runny that it will get to all those areas. I'm just here with a little bit of water and a Q-tip and removing the excess from the tarantulas, and that's gonna be it. I suggest you guys, when you're painting the head of the model, the top of the head, I at the end I have to make a brown line because there's a insignificant tiny gap, but you can still see through it between the hair, the two pieces of hair, so you will see the head. And if you head is like the color that I have right now, then you will see like the skull of the in the model. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Okay, perfect. Now we're gonna use the red again, and this time we're gonna use it to paint the nails. I was thinking to paint them black, but I felt like the model was too black already with the ties and the shoes and the gloves and the shirt. So I was like, all right, let's do it red. Let's do it red. And I was also thinking purple and or black with some skulls to make it more like a dark and goth, or I don't know. I don't know. But I ended up using red. I like the red to make it look more sexy, I think. And remember, when you paint nails, if you have a mom, a sister, a daughter, a wife, a girlfriend, or a female that you know, ask them how they paint their nails and use the same movement. Don't go from left to right, it's always from top to bottom. So you don't create like a weird lines, okay? It's my advice. If you don't like my advice, so be it. Do it whatever, however you want it. At the end of the day, the point is for us to have fun with our models and just love them as much as you can. If you don't feel satisfied with the model at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that you have a bad model. Okay? It just means that your model is not finished. You haven't finished your model. So there's still something that you need to be done or needs to be done in order to finish. Now I'm using the color leather from Game Color from Vallejo, and I'm just painting the strap and the part of the glass, like the glasses. These are like aviator glasses kind of looking, but like a post-apocalyptic situation, type of Mad Max. And I'm using again the metal gun color to paint the metal part of the frame of the glass where the glass is going to sit, right? And I'm gonna paint both parts, and then I'm gonna do a dry brush with silver again to make it pop and don't have it flat. There it is. See, I wasn't lying. And we're also gonna use this silver to paint the buckle and all the metal part that it's supposed to be there. Now, one thing to say about the model, I don't have nothing but good things to say about the model. It's a fantastic model. I strongly suggest you guys to check out Alberto Gaona. Top up, top notch, this guy. All the parts of the model, for example, the buckle, the eyebrows, the eyelashes, has enough depth so you can use your brush and paint it really well. It's not flat on the model. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just beautiful. Now I'm using clear paint. This is a small color or transparent paint from Tamiya. So you saw that I put the gunmetal as a base, and I'm putting this small color on top, and what it's going to make it look like is like there is an actual glass, like a smoky glass, and it gives you that feeling because it's a thick paint. Look at this. Look. It looks like a real glass, guys. I'm not BSing you, and it's fantastic. I love it. You will see right now. Just be really careful. You have to use the Tamiya thinner with the yellow lid, because that's for lacquer. Lacquer? Yeah, I think that's how you say it. And now I'm gonna do the same, but with the transparent red on the nails. And they're gonna make it pop. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be like 3D. It's gonna give it depth. And in this way, I don't have to use the clear coat at the end on the nails, because to me it looks like it doesn't look as good as this. Look, you see? Anyways, now I'm using the panel line again on the rivets and all parts on the glasses, and I'm telling you guys, it looks fantastic, and it's not because I made it. I think that anyone that makes this model and takes the time to do it right is going to have such a great fun, and it's just fantastic. Now, the model has a tattoo, and again, the designer, the modeler, the however you want to call, no, not the modeler, I am the modeler. The designer of the model was so smart that they create this. I don't know how to say it, but it's not flat on the skin, so there is no way for you to mess it up. So you just have to pay the top of the model. I didn't. I don't know for what reason I didn't record me paint the negligee and the ties, like the darker part. You saw that, uh, but it's really straightforward. It's just black, the one that we talk, and they have some hearts and like triangles with crosses, and there's four dragons that hold the negligee, or how's it called? No, you guys don't say negligee. The lingerie together, that part of the thong, um, and I'm just painting it with silver. Okay. Um, I apologize because sometimes I get confused with some of the words in English, but I'm trying to do my best. Now we're gonna use again our brown and our orange brown, and what are we going to do right now with this is painting the eyelashes. No, no eyelashes, eyebrows. So we're gonna use the flat brown. It has the texture, but even though if it has a texture, I will strongly suggest you to paint little stripes and go with the hair, so you make it more realistic. Don't go from left to right, because even if the paint will dry and all that fun stuff, it might not look as neat and clean as if you do it as I'm suggesting you to do it. And with the orange brown, I'm just going to come back and it's gonna be like a highlight, you know. So it's gonna be a highlight on top of the flat brown, so the eyebrows don't look completely flat and dead. I was gonna say lifeless, but why would I say lifeless if I can say dead? Uh, makes no sense to me. But anyways, so just take your time. It's a really forgiving model. I really like it. I really do. In the renders, she has green eyes, but I have done so many green eyes lately, so I decided to do it brown. I am painting the Irish, or I don't know how you, no Irish, iris of the, well, that brown, the color of your eye, I'm painting it brown there, because sometimes I paint over completely with the gray white, that this is the one that I'm using, and then you cover everything. In some models you don't have the definition of the iris, and it's harder to paint. In this case, this guy make the eye so it's eyes for dummies, right? There is no way that you mess it up. Also, the eyebrows is just flat white. Sorry, flat black. Um, I'm not painting in any other color. At some point, I was thinking that I wanted to apply like a shadow on the eyes, but they turned out that I didn't apply too much paint there, and they're kind of reddish, and I love them, so I didn't do anything else. But look at this; it's very natural. And when I realized that, I said, okay, I want to continue everything like a very natural way, and that's what I did. Um, well, I already talked about. Oh, this is the mouth. This is the mouth, the lips. So I use the color brown rose from Vallejo. This is 70803. I diluted, or sorry, I mix it with 50% uh, white gray Vallejo 70993, and I painted the lips. I painted the lips with that tone, and then I'm using a 9 millimeter ultra thin brush. Those are the colorful ones, and I just grab a little bit more of white, and I start to create like these lines, white lines on the lower lip, and it will make it look more realistic. I'm using the same brown rose to paint the inside of the eye. The I don't know how to call it, but you know that we have that pinkish color in our eye. So that's what it is and what I'm using it for. I'm telling you guys, this model is really forgiving. It's big. It's big. It's about, oh boy, I don't remember on inches. Oh, let me see. I have one here. So is, if I'm not mistaken, is about 7 inches tall. No, I'm lying. It's 28. So it's about 11 inches tall. It's 15 inches long and 7 inches wide. So it's a pretty big model, but because how it was made, the position where it was created, you can pretty much place it anywhere in any shelf and you will have plenty of space. Okay, I'm doing some touch up on the eyes. I only use 2 colors on the eyes, the flat brown and the orange brown, and I painted the little black dot red. No, it's not red. Well, that freaking part, the pupil, black, and it's already engraved within the model. So, like I said, there's no way for you to mess it up. I although managed to mess it up a little bit, but it was easy and I came back and I just fixed it. Look at that. I just love it, guys. I don't know if I'm overreacting or what, but I love it. You know, like at the end, it's a little bit of touch up and whatnot. And on the eyes and the mouth, we're going to apply the clear coat from Vallejo varnish. I'm doing that right now. So to make it, you know, more realistic, if we want to put it that way. And now I glued the head, and this is it, guys. So here are some photo shoot of the version with the shirt on, shirt off. I didn't show the part where I was painting the nipples, but you know, use your imagination and you will get it right, I bet. It's a beautiful model. I had so much time doing it. I hope you guys like it. Please don't forget to subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends. And now I will leave you with some pictures and the video. Thank you so much. See you next time.